So recording started. Hope you all are in same page. What is infrastructure as a code with Terraform, right?
Yes.
So we all have gone through this class of Azure CLI, creating resources using Azure CLI, correct? So Terraform, like Azure CLI, is being maintained by uh, Microsoft, you can say, okay. So even PowerShell, they are maintaining all their APIs, how it will create and code bases. It's been managed by Microsoft. But in case of Terraform, it's a different company. You can see their name is HashiCorp. Okay, so Terraform basically is managed by HashiCorp, and it's like multi-cloud. Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell you can just use to create resources in Azure itself, right? But first benefit of Terraform is like you can use this Terraform to create resources with any cloud. Okay, it doesn't matter if it is like Azure, AWS, or Google, or Oracle, or Alibaba, or any cloud. Okay, they are having plugins for all the clouds. Okay, mainly we'll go through Azure, how to use Terraform for Azure here. Okay, so if you know how to use Terraform for Azure, you will able to use it for other cloud provider as well, for GCP or AWS as well. Okay, so yes, there will be some definition which you have to learn, right? And which will be good for you also, right? You can say infrastructure as a code tool, right? We have learned infrastructure as a tool. We have seen this IAC lot more, right? What is infrastructure as a code? Basically, it allows you to manage infrastructure with configuration file. And what is configuration file here? It's like your code, right? Configuration file when I say, or you can say the script where you have kept your script. You will go through configuration file, you will create them. Don't worry about that. Okay. So basically, we will manage our infrastructure with configuration file. That is the basic definition of infrastructure as a code. Okay. Also, like when I say IAC, okay, it allow you to basically build, change and manage your infrastructure in safe and consistent, repeatable way, right? By defining resource configuration that allow that you can version, right? So basically, what this line says, this line, we can like basically configuration file, we can store that in our version control, right? That you can version, reuse, and share. If my configuration file or script file is stored in repository, versioning will be happening automatically, correct? You can apply some sort of pull request things, and we can share also to multiple people can use together, right? And that's the benefit of using Terraform. Okay, so it's like again infrastructure in human readable form, like is a kind of declarative configuration file where you have to declare a value for some parameter, like in Azure portal. What we are doing, let's say we are creating a virtual machine. In that case, what we are giving name, we are giving resource group, subscription, and all those things, right? What we are doing there, we are declaring something. So same here also, in case of Terraform also, we will be declaring some variables in case of like in configuration file. Okay, we'll go through it, don't worry. Again, same thing can be like Terraform can manage infrastructure on multiple clouds. It's a human readable configuration language, help you to write infrastructure code quickly. Okay, you will learn, it's very easy. Okay, you will learn it. Okay, then there is Terraform state. Okay, so basically Terraform, whatever resources we are creating using Terraform, it will store in some JSON file. Okay, that we call it state. Okay, so this state file will basically have the details like whatever resource we have created, right? So when we have created a resource using CLI, does CLI have any state file? Can anyone answer that? State file is like a kind of configuration which will be stored, like what all resources has been created in Azure. Okay, so it will have that details. Okay, so CLI, PowerShell, or even ARM template doesn't have a state file. Okay, So state file we have in Terraform. That is one major benefit. So Terraform have an idea what all resource is already deployed. Okay, that is the benefit of a state file. So yes, you can commit or you can save your configuration file to your version control to safely collaborate with on infrastructure. Okay, and see manage any infrastructure. Amazon, Google, Kubernetes, Helm, GitHub, Splunk, and few more. Okay, we will be standardizing our deployment workflow, like it will be a standard workflow. We will not go through in that. So to deploy an infrastructure, what else we need? Let's say in case of CLI, first of all, we need the scope, right? What all we wanted to deploy. That is a scope, right? That is identify the resource or identify the infrastructure for your project. Same here also with Terraform also, you have to just identify what resource you wanted to deploy, right? Allow me 2 minutes. I will be back. Sorry. Allow me 2 minutes. Let me share you this link. Maybe you all can go through this. Okay. Hey, sorry team, I am back. Okay. So, when we call like a standardized your deployment workflow, we'll be doing like provide your defined individual units of infrastructure, right? When I say individual unit of infrastructure, that is storage account is one individual unit, right? Key vault is one individual unit, or your virtual machine is one individual unit. Okay, you can say compute instances or provide a private network as a resource. You can compose. Same thing they are saying, correct? So you can compose your resources from different providers into reusable Terraform configuration called modules, right? So here, like when I say module, you just think of it's kind of a folder, okay, where we are storing configuration file, and then we can call that folder wherever required. Okay, we'll go through that. We'll do the practical as well. Don't worry about that. So again, Terraform is a declarative. Okay, describe the desired end state for your infrastructure, what we wanted. Okay, we were here like scope, what all has to be deleted, created, right? Then author, like write the configuration of your infrastructure.
Hello, Vikas.
Yes.
Can you define the declarative function of the Terraform? I can't understand. I understand from the word declarative, but I don't understand the meaning of declarative in the Terraform in Azure portal.
Don't worry, we'll declare some values. We'll create some Terraform file there. You will understand. Okay, just wait for it. Don't worry. Okay. So again, author is like write the configuration for your infrastructure. These things like you have to remember. You can just remember these things. Once we start doing practical, it will be more easy. Okay. So you can, as of now, just you can remember what all things we are going scope. What is scope? What is author? Okay. Initialization is the first part of Terraform, okay, or any application say. So what installation will do, it will install the Terraform plugins, okay, that need to manage your infrastructure. We will see this step also while doing the practical. Plan is like it will give us a review what all resources will be created, and then apply will like create the resource, okay. Track your infrastructure. We have talked about state file, right? So with the help of state file, you can track your resources, what all resources has been created, or what what all resources are going to be created. Okay, we'll do all those things. So collaborate is like you have the state file where you have details what all resources has been created. Okay, but like multiple people can create resource at the same time, because there is a separate backend which has been stored, right? Like all the details. Okay, if you're not able to understand this, we'll see that later. Don't worry. Okay, let's go to next step where we'll try to deploy something. Okay, so like there are some step how to install Terraform. You can go through this step. Okay, you can use. We have seen Chocolatey Package Manager, right? With the help of that, you can install Terraform. Okay, nothing else is there. How to install? If you want to install Terraform autocomplete command, you can do that. Okay, and then you don't want to do the all parameter. We wanted to go with Azure. Okay, so first we will create a resource group using this Terraform. Okay, we have a Azure account. Okay, if you don't have, we have to create one. Okay. Once you have a resource group, so we are creating some configuration file, right? We are creating some script. We have to store that script somewhere, correct? Let's create a folder first in our local system, okay? Where we will store all the configuration file, okay? So we'll go to D drive, we'll create a new folder where we'll say Terraform Azure, okay? We'll open this folder in our Visual Studio Code. You can open that folder in PowerShell also. In this tutorial, they say using PowerShell, but let's do it with the help of Visual Studio Code is like code editor tool, which will make you like our work very easy to clone and do all other things. Okay, so right now you can see its folder is empty Terraform Azure, right? We'll create one folder file here. Okay, not now. Let's go to again. Where are we? This Terraform, right? So this again, this tutorial is like build infrastructure. That is first step, set up your infrastructure, right? Like how to get started with Terraform. Like this is all that about. Okay. So if you already know how to do all those things, you can do that, or you can go through this step by step. Like okay, so let's copy this. It's saying about installing Azure CLI. We will be using Azure CLI to log into Azure. Okay, and after that we will be using Terraform to create resources. Okay. So if I'm going to Visual Studio Code, here also there is terminal. If you can say new terminal. PowerShell is fine. I will just invoke this URI. So basically, I'm not doing anything. I'm just installing Azure CLI to log into Azure using Azure CLI. Rest all will be done using Terraform. So we are right now doing the prerequisite, that is creating a Azure account and installing Azure CLI. Yes, Vishal, saying something?
Yes, yes, because here we are using Azure CLI for login.
Hmm.
We can also use our user password here or not?
Yes, we can use.
Usually. Okay,
That's
okay,
correct. We can use that. Username and password will has to be provided, right? With CLI. So there are multiple way to connect.
okay,
So
okay,
right now, like we are trying to follow some standardized way. It's not like Azure CLI also we will be using every time. We
okay,
will be using a service principal. Okay. So we will be creating a service principal also here, which will be used for you know, later Terraform changes. Okay. So right now we are just trying to create a service principal using AGCLI. You can directly log into portal and create some service principal directly also. Okay. So
okay, okay.
it's like it's a little bit slow seems to be or what. Okay. So the install, but it's not giving any. Okay, so that is done. And now try to log in. Maybe you can follow this complete step. Okay, AG login. Copy and just go here. So you can see it's not installed correctly. So it says it's not working. Okay. Not a problem. Let's install AGCLI in our local hours. Required administrator permission. We'll be doing the same thing in Azure administration portal. Okay. So again, we are not doing anything, just installing Azure CLI on our local system. Okay. Installing.
Hello, Vikas.
Yes, Ajit.
Are you installing the Terraform as a package in Visual Studio Code?
Terraform is already installed, so you can install Terraform using Chocolatey, or even you can install Terraform normally also. Visual Studio Code will have extension for Terraform. Okay, so we will not install anything on Visual Studio, but we will install extension. If you go to extensions and if you
Okay.
type
Are you trying to
Terraform,
plug in the Terraform in Visual Studio Code?
yes, yes. So it's already installed. If not, we can just go to HashiCorp and just say installed. Okay, so that is kind of adding an extension on Visual Studio Code, or you can say
Mhm.
plugins on Visual Studio. Right now, we are trying to install CLI, Azure CLI. Okay,
Okay.
Azure CLI on our local system. Again, it's not working. Media restart. Seems to be required a restart. Okay, let's see CMD. Let me try now. It's working in command prompt. We'll go to terminal. We'll say new terminal and we will say AG login. It's not working in PowerShell, but it's working in normal. Let me try everything extension. AGCLI. Installed. Let's try now. For the first time when you are setting up the environment, it may take some time, but yes, once everything is set up, you will be good to go. Okay, so that is again not correct extension. Azure CLI. Let me restart my system, okay? Just 2 minutes, I will be back. I'll make someone host here. Okay, I'm back. Allow me 1 minute. Okay, so it's working.
Your screen is not visual.
Yes, yes, I'm sharing. Able to see my screen?
Yes, Vikas.
Okay. Let's go to. Okay, so we were in this page, right? We have installed CLI. Now we'll go to AG login, right? To our VS Code. Let's click on C, terminate, yes. So once you say AG login, okay, it will open to a new website, and then you have to select your Azure account which you want to log in. Just select that. Once you selected, here you will see the subscription details, okay, what all you have. So you can see I have just one subscription, that is pay as you go. All right, so I have only one subscription, that is fine. Still, what is the next command we have to do once subscription is created, or like I have logged into the subscription? You can see same way, right? It will give you the details of subscription. Okay, we have to set the subscription, okay, so that it's not taking any other subscription. Like where we wanted to create our resources, I have to use this command to set that subscription. Let's say I have 10 subscription, like subscription 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? In current case, I have just only one, so it is not required. But if there are more, how to set a subscription where we wanted to create resource using this command. Okay, so let's do that also. It will not harm anything. As I say, you can make these changes in VS Code also. Let's copy this completely, paste here, change the subscription ID or subscription name. Okay, you can copy this name, pay as you go. You can replace this. with pay as you go. Or if you get the ID, we have not got the ID. That's also fine. Let's try with the name. So now what I did, I have made this pay as you go as my default subscription whenever I'm working in this Visual Studio Code. Okay, in current session. Okay. What is the next step we have to do? We have done till here. We have to create a service principal. Why we wanted to create a service principal? We will be using this service principal for our Terraform. Okay. So what is the command to create a service principal? You can copy this command. You can again make the changes. Let's copy. Now I need a subscription ID, right? From where I can get the subscription ID? I can get it from portal, right? Let's log into portal and get the subscription ID. Okay, so here are subscriptions. Don't want this one. I want all others also. Go to home. Let's switch directory to default directory. Still taking Azure Pass sponsorship. Okay, I got it. Okay, as you go, oh, it's not showing there. Okay, so this is my different subscription pay as you go. We have we need this subscription ID. Okay, I will go back there. I will set this subscription ID here. Paste. Or it's going in the second line. It seems to be not copied properly. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to create a service principal using Azure CLI. Hope that is okay with all of you. So you can see the command agad service principal, that is sp create. Okay, and what I'm giving contributor role. Okay, and just close this. You can say there is service principal created, and we got this 4 ID and passwords. Okay, we will be using this ID password in our Terraform. So copy it, keep it in somewhere else. Okay. Again, if you go back to documentation of Terraform, sorry, where am I? We got this right. Same as app ID, display name, password, and tenant. Correct. So now what you have to do? You have to define the variable here. Okay, like this. You can copy this, edit all of them. Right. What is the application ID? You know, right? What is the defining of a variable or defining environment variable? I'm getting a complete silence here. We are just storing our ID password
Yes,
somewhere,
because we have
right?
it in keyword, na? We are
Yes,
defining the variables.
that's correct. So yes, here also for our session we are defining some variable. So it's like we should not store our ID and password normally here. We will be storing it in a GitHub, but as of now for today we are storing, like, we are just defining it locally. Okay, so don't worry about that. Just learn how to define it also. Okay, because these are the basic steps where we have to define all this. Okay, you have to do it from yourself. You cannot ask these things to anyone. Okay, can you help me defining environment variable? So like we are going for like from the beginning, right? So either you can define them all in one go. Okay, no, I am able to copy complete. Okay, let's go one by one. That is also fine. That was PowerShell. So you can define it here also. Okay, so I have defined one. Let's define the second one. Let's define the third one. Still, we are just defining, we are creating our like basic prerequisite to run a Terraform file, okay, or Terraform configuration file, nothing else. You all can also repeat the same step here. Okay, now I have defined the variable. I will be using this variable in my Terraform file. Okay, so let's go to again tutorial for this Terraform. Okay, so now they are saying create a folder, right? This person is saying use PowerShell. What we are doing, we are using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so we have already created this folder where we will be storing our Terraform file, right? Now they are saying create a new file called main.tf. Okay, how to create a new file in Visual Studio Code? Go to your folder. There is option, right? Create file, create new folder, right? So what we have to create? We have to create a new file. What is the name of that file? Main.tf. Now I have created this main.tf. Okay, what I have to keep in main.tf? This code. Copy complete code, paste it in here, or you can say script, not a code, right? So this is a basic Terraform script. First time we are seeing it, right? What all things we are doing here? Configure the Azure provider. So Terraform required provider is Azure RM. For Azure, the provider name is Azure RM. Okay. For AWS, there is a different provider. Okay. Let's go to again. That's not. I'm unable to open this. Okay. So that's fine. Okay. You want to see the provider for Azure, AWS? Terraform AWS provider. Okay. So you can see here, okay, these basic lines are same, right? Terraform required provider. Here it is AWS. In our case, what is it? It is Azure RM, right? Azure Resource Manager. RM is Resource Manager, nothing else. Okay. Then source and version will be different. Correct. That's why it is like multi-cloud. Here, if you change it to AWS, it will download all the plugins from AWS. Here, if you change it Azure RM, it will download everything from Azure RM. Okay. For GCP also same way you can check. Okay. So GCP, that is Google Cloud Provider. Not this way I wanted to see. Not that way. So Google Provider is like little bit different provider than Google, then your project name and all other things is. For Azure also you can provide like declare like this, but just follow one way, that will be the fine. That will be good. Okay. Just I wanted to show like you can just change the provider and you can deploy to different cloud with the help of Terraform. Nothing much. Okay. Let's go back here again. When we have created that, what is next step? We are giving the version, which version of Azure RM we wanted to download with this file. Okay, nothing else. Then required
Hello,
version is
Vikas.
the
Each Terraform is basically used to deploy the service in any platform.
yes, deploy services and manage configuration also. That's what we have discussed, right? When I say
Okay.
infrastructure as a code, yes, it is just maintaining some script file or configuration file to deploy resources on different provider. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, in Google, you could have seen we are defining like this provider Azure RM feature. These two blocks are like to define which version of Azure RM you wanted. Okay. If you wanted to fix them, you can fix it here. And then required version should be greater than one and one. That's what we are defining. Nothing much there. Okay. Then this provider Azure RM is mandatory. Then in case of Azure CLI, you can see we could have written like AG resource group create, right? Something like that. But here in Azure, how it is defining? It is defining here. You have to define the resource. Okay, which resource you wanted to create? A resource group. Azure RM is again provider. Forget about that. It will be same for each and every resources. What you wanted to create? You wanted to create a resource group. Okay. Then just give this declarative part your name here. Okay. This name is just for the Terraform, not for the resource name. Okay. So let's say I am saying resource group. Okay, or you can give any name here. Okay, Vikas resource group or example resource group, anything. This is just for Terraform. If you wanted to call this resource group somewhere, we will be calling with this name. Okay, and then you have to give the name of resource group which you wanted to create. Okay, let's remove this. What name you wanted to give this resource group? We'll say Terraform test. That is fine, right? Which location you wanted to create this resource group, that name you location you have to give here. So in Azure CLI also, if you are creating, then Azure resource group create, then hyphen name you have to give, hyphen location you have to give. Correct. Same way here, just declaration way is different, right? In case of Terraform, so you have to understand that resource, which resource you want to create, resource group, then give a name to that resource, and then give the name which you wanted to create for that resource, okay, and then give the location where you wanted to create. Now let's save it. So we have achieved till here, right? You can again, they have defined what is a Terraform block. The provider block specified the provider, right? Then resource block. So if I'm coming here, this is my resource block, this is my provider block, this complete you can say, okay, and this is provider version block, okay. So we call it as block here. Once my code is done till there, what we are doing, so there are three command, okay. First one is initialize. Any Terraform you wanted to create anything with Terraform, first command will be your Terraform init. What Terraform init will do, what it did in the backend when I say Terraform init.
It is basically used to initialize the code.
Okay, very quaint. Let's see again Terraform init. No, not the initialization of code. That's the wrong definition.
Yeah.
Okay,
I repeated
so
that whatever you said.
no, it's not like that. So okay, let me open again. Okay, so see, this is the initialization part we are doing here. We have got a scope, right? That is our resource group. We wanted to create a resource group. Author is like we have configured resource group as a code, right? Here is my code for the resource group. This one line, or you can say complete main.tf file is my configuration file or author. Next part we are initializing the Terraform. What does initialization do? It will install all the plugins Terraform needs to manage your infrastructure. Okay, so that's what it is doing. If it is like Azure, it will download plugins for Azure. If it is AWS, it will download plugins for AWS. Okay, so basically it will download plugins for the providers to manage them. Okay, so if you can see here, when installation is done, what it has done, it has downloaded this Azure RM 3.2.0 and 3.0.2 version that's we have mentioned here, right? That plugins it has downloaded. Okay, so once we have been sliced, what is the next step? Let's go here. We have been sliced. Here also you can see, right? Finding the Azure RM matching version, whatever we have given, right? Then installing them, that plugins to our local, then installed, signed by Hasikop. Okay. Terraform has been successfully initialized. Same thing we have got here also. Correct. So you may now begin to work with Terraform. Let's see what is the next command they are asking us to run. Format and validate the configuration. Okay. We don't want to format and validate now. Okay, leave that. If you want to validate your file, you can do that. Like my Terraform configuration file is correct or not. If I wanted to do that, I will say Terraform validate, and it will validate that all the configuration which I have given here is correct or not. That's it. Nothing much. We don't want to apply first. First, what we want to do? We wanted to do a Terraform plan. It is not given here. So what plan will do? Okay, again, go back to documentation. Why I closed it. Plan will basically review, right? It's review the changes Terraform will make to match your configuration, right? So right now we have just only one configuration, that is resource group. We have not created any resource earlier. This is first resource which we are creating, right? So what Terraform is doing, when I am saying Terraform plan, it is giving us Terraform will perform the following action. That is Azure RM resource group. The resource group will be created, and it is saying it will be adding one resource, right? Plan one to add, zero to change, zero to destroy. So it will be just adding one resource. That's what it is saying, correct? Basically, Terraform plan will compare with the existing resource which we have created, and it will give you an output. Okay, what all changes it wanted to make. Okay, right now let's say we wanted to create a resource group. That's why it is giving us one to add. Okay, what is the command to create in Terraform? Terraform apply. Okay, when I say Terraform apply, what it will do, it will create resources in Azure or any provider which you have selected. So again, when you say apply, that time also it will give you a plan, right? It will say, okay, I wanted to add one. Do you want to perform this action? You have to say yes, then only it will go. Okay. When I say yes, now it will again connect to Azure and it will try to create a resource group. You can say Azure RM resource group, which is creating now. Creation completed. Correct? So it should be there in my Azure portal. Let's go to pay as you go subscription. Let's go to resource group. You can see Terraform test is created, right? Everyone is okay with this, at least till here,
Yes, because
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because
Yes, we are just learning the basic of Terraform now. Okay, there are a lot to learn in Terraform right now. Whatever we were doing using CLI, we are doing using Terraform now, right? So we have learned how to set up prerequisite first, right? Prerequisite in the sense we have to install Azure CLI if you are using AG login, right? And if you are creating a service principal, right? If you already have your service principal, no need to do those steps, right? Install Terraform is also one of the prerequisite. You have to install Terraform. Then we have just followed the basic step, right? To create a resource. You can say once we have created a resource, if you remember, we have just created a main.tf file, right? Now after the apply, I can see I have a Terraform tf state file. I have Terraform log hasicop file and I have a Terraform folder also, right? So what is this Terraform folder is there? This is the plugins which Terraform has downloaded. This is for the log, okay? And then Terraform state file which has the details of what all resources we have created, okay? So this is again you can see a JSON file which contains details like okay, I have created a resource group, this Terraform test, okay? Let's say I wanted to create one more resource group, okay? What I have to do? Just in okay, I don't know much about it. I wanted to create a resource group, okay? So I will give resource group to this name has to be different, okay? If you are like declaring same block again, this name has to be different, okay? Then I wanted to deploy one more resource group. This time, let's say it is not Terraform test, it is Azure test, okay? Okay, let's save this name, okay? I have saved this file. I am in same session, so no need the initialization again. Let's try plan what it will say. So you can say it is saying it will add one more, right? That is Azure test. Let's say I want to apply this. I have to accept it. Okay, so it must have created one more resource here, resource group. It's taking a little bit time. No problem, that's okay. Okay, so Azure test is also created, right? What will happen if I remove the first one here? Let's say I have removed this code. What will happen? Can anyone say?
It would remove the code from the portal.
Not code. It will remove. It should remove the resource group from
Okay.
portal. Okay, not just code. Okay, so I have just removed the code. Let me save this file. Okay, let's see plan. Plan will give us right what it will do. Now it is saying it will destroy one, right? What it will destroy? It will destroy Terraform test resource group. Correct? So if I say apply, it will go ahead and delete this resource there in portal. Or you can say Azure. Again, you have to accept this. So this is like if you wanted to make changes in any particular resource. Okay, if you wanted to destroy everything, in that case, what will be happening? Let's refresh it here. Destroying is taking a little bit time. Creation took 1 second. Destroy is taking around 30 seconds. So you can see it will give you the update, right? Still destroying every 10 seconds. Still destroying every 10 seconds. Correct? It will get destroyed. Okay, so now it destroyed. Let's say, okay, it will get removed after some time here. Time. Okay, so till where we have gone? Okay. To see the Terraform state, you can see this one. Okay, creation is created. Inspect your Terraform. Okay, let's see the Terraform current state. Okay, like what is the state like? What all resources are there in my Terraform? You can see there are one resource that is Azure test. Second one already got deleted. So what I have run Terraform show. If I wanted to see what all resources are there or what all configurations are there in my state file, this state file, right? So Terraform is basically maintaining a state file which has all the details, okay, of the resources has been created using Terraform, okay. It will not store any details if you create anything
Hello,
manually.
Vikas. Your
It will,
voice is not coming properly.
It's coming properly, sir.
yes, is it okay now?
It was coming properly only, sir.
Mhm. Okay, so Terraform like will in state file basically is the important file. Okay, this is state file. It will store the information about the resource which has been deployed using Terraform. Okay, you can see here it has details of one resource group which has been deployed using Terraform. Okay, we will deploy more resources and we will see that time also what Terraform show will like give us the details. Okay, what all resources been created in Terraform. Okay, so please go through all the this documentation part, read line by line. Okay, maybe you will get something more information. Okay, so if you say Terraform state list, it will give you one by one. Okay, like what all resources. Let's say right now we have created just one resource, so it is easy for us to read it. Let's say there are 100 of resources or 200 resources. In that case, how we will able to know? You can see using Terraform state list. Okay, copy it, paste it here. So it will give you a one liner. Okay, so you can see resource group 2. Resource group 2, where it is? Resource group 2, here it is, right? So whatever we have defined in resource group 2, it's been already created. That's what my state file is saying. Okay, Terraform state, you will see full list of available commands to view and manipulate the configuration state. Okay, so if you want to change the configuration state, you can do that also. You wanted to move an item in state, you can do that. You wanted to pull current state and output of this, again we will do this later. Okay, you want to remove any instance, you want to replace provider, you can do that. Okay, next step, it's 9:13. Change infrastructure. So in main.tf file, we have created virtual, sorry, resource group, right? Now in next, it is saying create a new resource. In main.tf file, you can add this virtual network. So again, it's a resource. Azure RM is common. Then here, how we have to define? We have to define like virtual network. Okay, and then we can give a name to it. Okay, so let's say copy this, paste it. Will this work? Do I need to modify anything? Can anyone comment? Right now, I wanted to create a resource virtual network. Okay. Okay. What I have to modify? Okay. Here you can see resource group. We are not defining the resource group name. What we are doing? We are calling it. Okay. So how to call anything? Let's say here I have created resource group. Okay. I wanted to call this resource group here. Okay. So defining is like resource group name is there. Then you have to give Azure RM resource group. Okay, which resource you wanted to call. Okay, so if you give this Azure RM resource group, then you have to give the name of the block. Okay, so what name we have given here in that block? We have given this name. So if I give like this, then what is happening? It will go to this block. It will search for Azure RM resource group, and then it will search for resource group 2 block. Okay, and then this block will have some name or ID, right? So I have given name, automatically it will refer to this name here, and also it is defining a dependency. Okay, let's say we are destroying this resource group. After that we will create it. So first what it will do, it will create a resource group, and then it will create a virtual network. So basically it is doing two things. We are not defining resource group again and again. We are calling it from existing block, and in the same time it is also defining a dependency. Okay, there is a dependency for this block. This is virtual network block because it need a resource group, correct? It required a resource group. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's say, let me comment this file and save it. Okay, let me destroy everything. Are you people getting how to call it? At least that you people got, right? We are calling it the same resource group name here. So how to call it? This is the way you have to call it. Okay, that is block name, block, or you can say this block name, and then the block given name which you have given, and then what parameter you wanted to call. You can see dot name, you can see dot location, you can see dot id, or there are so many output variables are there. Okay, so you can call any one of them. So let's destroy everything which is there in current file. There is one to destroy. We are okay with that. While it's destroying, let's make changes in our code. Let's save it. So destroy completed. Now let's see a plan what it will do. If you wanted to verify if it is deleted or not, you can come here and you can refresh. So we don't have any resource there. Let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. You can see now it says to add, right? What all things you want it will add? You can see this, there is plus sign, right? So if you go up, when we have destroyed, there is a minus sign. Okay, so it is adding a resource group, and then it is adding a virtual network. So it is adding two new resources. That's why it says two to add, zero to change, zero to destroy. Let's apply. Give your consent. Yes.
Yes, sir.
We can see now it is creating resource group first, correct? Once resource group created, then it started creating a virtual network, correct? So again, Terraform can also deploy parallel resources. Okay, it can start deploying Azure Resource Group, virtual network, and other things in parallel if there is no dependency. So due to dependency, it waited for resource group to get created and then start creating a virtual network. Okay, so let's go to portal, go to pay as you go, then go to resource group, network watcher RG. I have not created, somehow it got created. Okay, automatically. Okay, if I'm going to Azure test, you can say there is my Terraform VNet is created, correct? Is it okay? At least we have learned basic how to use Terraform, how to initialize, how what plan will do, what destroy will do, what apply will do,
Yes,
what
sir.
Terraform validate will do, right?
Yes, sir.
So for today, at least can we take a note? on these things. Again, let me paste you. So start from the beginning, okay? What is infrastructure as a code? Go through video. We have discussed little bit of about that also. Let me start
सर इसको
from this.
आज ही अपलोड करेंगे क्या आप यूट्यूब पे?
कर दूंगा भाई.
ठीक.
Okay. Please go through it. Okay. Go through video. Go through this documentation. Take a note what initialization will do. Maybe you people will get something else also in the initialization. You can explain in much better, right? I have explained you the basic what it will do, what plan exactly will do, right? Step by step, okay? It will compare the state file, then it will give us an output, okay? It wanted to apply this resource or that resource, correct? Please go through and write some point, okay? And in Terraform, you will get question from only this thing, okay? And it's very easy, and it is again, there is lots of opening there in Terraform. So if outside, if you say you are working on Terraform and Azure, it will be very easy. Okay, so Terraform, DevOps, and Azure is the deadly combination you have.
Most deadly.
Okay, most paying, most demanding, whatever you say,
Yes.
everything is applicable. Okay, so Terraform we do not have more. Try to practice. If you are not able to get any resource, also just create file, configuration file, whatever task I am doing here. Just do that. Okay, that
सर
should
जैसे
be
ही
more
अपलोड
than
कर
enough.
देंगे ना, एक बार मैसेज कर दीजिएगा सर ग्रुप में.
नोटिफिकेशन और सब्सक्राइब करो.
अरे हम तो
नोट
सब्सक्राइब कर रखे हैं, बट
नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आता है.
आता नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आ रहा है. नोटिफिकेशन हम सब तक बंद रखते हैं.
Okay, no problem. We'll try to do it. No problem. Okay, let's go one by one for the question. I will stop sharing. I have not heard anything from. Yes, Ajit, you are on unmute. Please go ahead.
No, I don't have a question. I haven't read anything about the Terraform.
Okay, I'm talking about in today's class. Everything is clear?
Not clear, but I don't remember the point which I don't know.
No problem. That's okay. That's okay. You can ask tomorrow also. Akshay, you have anything?
सर मेरा स्टार्टिंग का 20 मिनट रह गया, तो आई डिडंट जॉइन दैट टाइम. आई विल जस्ट गो थ्रू द क्लास वंस एंड इफ आई हैव एनी डाउट आई विल गेट बैक टू यू.
Okay. Pavan?
Yeah, because I haven't joined on this half an hour class, so I will
Okay.
go through with your video and then I will get back to you.
Okay. No problem. That's fine. Okay. At
Yeah,
least you people have got the last part right. How to apply, plan, and destroy, how it will give the interface thing. At least till then it is fine. Correct?
yeah, it is fine.
Okay.
So we need to go with the beginning, so then I will
Yes,
get
that's
to
correct.
know.
That's correct. That's correct. Pradeep, you have also joined 5 minutes late.
Yes, I need to go through one more time this video.
No problem. Tony, is it clear to you?
Yes, because
Because I didn't hear your voice.
I get it.
Okay. Yes, please go through it. Take a note about initialization, plan, apply, so and all those things will do. Okay. Try to install Terraform in your local machine. Okay. Uh, Again, this document is will like give you same step by step. Okay. So first go through the basics or some definitions, then install it, then build as your Terraform. So we have completed till here. Okay. So, okay. Vishal.
No, Vikas, I have to go through the video, then I will ask
No problem.
tomorrow.
Yes, no problem. That's okay. Vivek,
सर इसमें वही है ना, एक एक जो आपने पढ़ा है उसको लाइक वी हैव टू गो थ्रू लाइक एवरी मिनट ऑफ इट ट्वाइस, सो दैट इज.
there is nothing much like first we have described what is infrastructure as a code, and we have gone through some of the definition of it. Okay, so there is nothing much. Just go through it. If possible, go through these videos also while going through this documentation. Okay, they have different way of explaining you. Okay, in more technical way. which I am trying to explain is like, okay, more understandable way where you will understand. But if you wanted to see it technical way, just go through this. They will explain you and all the definition which they have given here. We have just discussed what is the benefit of it and all those things. Okay. So managing infrastructure and how what all five different things in Terraform, track your changes, and then you can go this here. Okay. There are some lab here also which you can do, but this is related to Docker. If you are not understanding, don't touch it. Okay. Go through what I'm going through. Okay. If you know what is Docker and
Hello,
all,
Vikas.
you can do this lab. Hmm.
Can we do all the lab which you performed today through the Microsoft Learning Azure Sandbox subscription?
You can do it, but yes, you have to be fast because the those lab will be there
Yeah,
for 1 hour
there is a
only,
time
right?
limitation.
Okay, so first try to create. Okay, try to create this folder, create main.tf file. At least go till there, then we'll see how we can do this lab. Okay, we'll figure out. Okay,
Hmm.
Terraform. Okay, then thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Vikas.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Just
Vikas.
let
Thank
just
you,
ping
sir.
sir once you upload it.
Sure, sure, Akshay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas.